fuck's sake, I am coming. Jesus. Oh. You will have to excuse me. I had a bit of a heavy weekend. Yes, at the weekend there, I transported myself to the historic town of Edinburgh, Scotland, to catch up with a band who started their very journey here with Kozmik Artifactz. Back in 2018, we released an EP. A self-titled EP, relatively unknown but caused ripples. That was Gaupa. Then again in 2020, just before the world turned to chaos for you humans, we released their sublime follow-up album, Feverdrome. Now, it was at this point that I suggested that we lock that beautiful mountain cat up in a cage here in my castle, but the guys at Kozmik Artifactz said that was not humane, not ethical, not legal, whatever the fuck that means. I mean, I don't live by the law. In the summer of 2021, Gaupa signed with Nuclear Blast. A sad but happy farewell as our young lynx went off into the world to grow and mature to its full potential. So, imagine my delight when I saw that my Scandinavian friends had been invited on tour with none other than Uncle Acid at the Deadbeats and Blood Ceremony on their current Europe and UK tour. This show was all killer and no filler. From start to finish, Gaupa materialized on stage and wooed and mesmerized the audience from the very first note, delivering a performance that shows just how far this band has come in such a short amount of time. Brought a tear to my eye to see them shine so bright that night. Next up was Blood Ceremony, a first for me, but spellbinding they were. Flute solos piercing a wall of sound that was reminiscent of the fallout of the Summer of Love. Ah, I remember it well. There's a touch of 70s folk rock in there, but this is loud, very loud, and heavy. The perfect filling for this 3-bill sandwich. And then, of course, came Uncle Acid, who are a beast all into themselves now. I first saw Uncle Acid open for Black Sabbath during their farewell tour a couple of years ago. I was blown away, but revisiting their performance in this small and intimate venue was the real deal. trippy psychedelic visuals accompany the dark, slender figures who do not mess around much with audience interaction. Instead, cloaked in mystery, they blasted through a set that was comprised of all the songs one would wish for and more. Now, I am several thousand years old, but sometimes a bill comes along that is too juicy to pass, even for an old seer like me. I am several thousand years old, but sometimes a lineup comes that is too juicy to miss. This tour is exactly that. If you have the opportunity to catch Uncle Acid on tour with Blood Ceremony and Gaupa, grab yourself a ticket at once. You will not be disappointed. And now for the news. This week's underground news has been dominated by the happenings and goings-on in old foggy London town as this year's Desert Fest rolled into the UK. What a lineup! Let's just remind ourselves. And of course, Desert Fest continues next week in Berlin with many of London's acts returning, along with some exclusive delights. Then Antwerp and New York City editions will follow later this year. So my question to you is, if you were lucky enough to attend Desert Fest, who was the band that stood out for you? Please tell me in the comments below, and I will reply. Now, I hadn't planned on talking about this record until next week, but in light of their Kozmik debut, rocketing in at number 6 in this month's Doom charts, I wanted to congratulate my guys in Milana for the recognition that they have been receiving for their thunderous new record Milivus, out now on Kozmik Artifactz. And whilst I'm talking about the Doom charts, you should all subscribe, like and follow that wonderful institution. A monthly chart voted upon the most prominent voices and wordsmiths within our heavy scene. An excellent and much needed resource that we at Kozmik Artifactz fully endorse. And we will continue to highlight and reference weekly here on a weekly dose of volume. Now, today I would like to share with you a few of the many co-releases we have here at Kozmik with our various label friends from around the globe. First up we have this, a very special and poignant record that we teamed up with Small Stone Records to put out. On the 11th of January 2019, guitarist Phil Durr sadly left this realm. He was in the middle of recording what would become this year's record, a Grade A. In honor of their dear friend and bandmate, the guys re-entered the studio to produce what is the last musical will and testament, serving as both a tribute to their departed bandmate and the final chapter of a collaboration that stretches back to the 90s. If you dig krautrock, psych rock, ambient textures, progressive and experimental sounds with blues-laden guitar played by the master himself, all with a bit of heavy razzle-dazzle thrown in, of course, then Giant Brain are for you. Next we have The Machine, newly signed to our friends at Majestic Mountain, straight out with a brand new album titled Wave Cannon. If you are familiar with Machine's back catalogue of records, you will be expecting psychedelic grooves, jam-based rock with heavy, thunderous riffs. However, Wave Cannon, the band seemed to have refined and developed their sound into something that is both refreshing and engaging. Wave Cannon is more sonically honed than their last records. It's atmospheric and adventurous in its delivery, while still maintaining the core of the band's roots. Keeping with our friends at Majestic Mountain, we have the brand new St. Karloff album, Paleolithic War Crimes. This is a band that wears its influences on its sleeves and focuses not on breaking boundaries, but on delivering fucking good Sabbath worship. If you're after a good time, just want to rock out and bang your head, look no further, St. Karloff. Now, this next record has been causing a stir of excitement since it was announced. This is, of course, Fairy Rings, follow-up to their 2019 debut, The Clearing, titled Weary Traveler. Out on King Volume in partnership with Kozmik Artifactz, Weary Traveler is a bombastic onslaught of Class A stoner doom that is a marked step forward for the band in terms of sound and production. Finally, and still with King Volume, we have Aura Leia, Thousand Petals. Do not be deceived by this title, nor the beautiful cover. This record goes hard, very hard, infusing modern prog metal akin to that of Mastodon and the furiosity of Torch with modern heavy psych entwining its way throughout. As a debut, Aura Leia have come out swinging, and I'd place my bets that this is the start of something special for this South Carolina power trio. Which brings us nicely to
the Riff of the Week!
Yes, this week's Riff of the Week go to my Scandinavian friend Gaupa, who gifted me this beautiful t-shirt at the gig. This is the outro riff from the song Ram, and I think you'll enjoy it. If you enjoyed hanging with me again this week, please hit the like and subscribe button and tell all your friends to come join me next week. Until then, keep it loud, keep it heavy, keep it cosmic.